Hey, what's going on? Thank you guys for joining us today. Because I value your time, I want to get right into this. This presentation is about, this webinar is about how do you become, as a professional service business, real estate agent, chiropractor, dentist, so on and so on, so on and so on. How do you become a market leading service brand? How do you command a price premium? And how do you generate qualified leads on autopilot?
Exactly, and every market has a leader that stands out. Every local market has that. There's no reason that it shouldn't be you and that it can't be you. So we're going to give you some things you can start doing right off the bat that'll help you out. Break down some of the things that we're doing and the things that we find effective, and give that to you as quickly and succinctly as we can. So thank you guys for tuning in.
All right. I'm Terrence Lomax. Some of you may have seen me in the content that got you here today. If you haven't, I'm actually the CEO and client strategy or head of client strategy at Journey. We're going to get into at the end of the webinar what exactly Journey does and what it is. But most importantly, right now, so we can get right to adding value for you guys, is the thing that needs to be known is that I have 12 years of accumulated expertise in brand strategy as well as video marketing, specifically to build high performance service brands.
Thank you, Terrence. And my name is Connor. I am the director of advertising at Journey, and I also own my own advertising agency out in Seattle. But I'm just a marketing nerd basically. So I love lead generation, high ticket sales stuff mostly, lending, buying and selling, medical professionals, hiring operations, whatever it is. I'm here for it. So yeah, really excited to tell you about what we're doing and the things you guys can be doing now to improve your lead gen programs and position your brand in a better way. So Terrence is going to start us off here pretty soon, but I'll give you like a quick overview of what we're doing. So we're going to show you how prospects are making buying decisions now in 2020, not 2005 or 10 or 1990. We're going to show you exactly how we're generating leads and our kind of roadmaps for doing that, and how we do it for high ticket service brands and literally just generate leads automatically while we're sleeping. And the four things, kind of like 4 steps you can do. They're kind of big and really like you can go into a ton of detail with them, but we try to give you a really quick 4 steps you can start taking today to start improving your lead gen program. So we're going to start off. Terrence is going to give you a little overview of kind of like how advertising has worked in the past for high ticket and like service based clients.
Yeah, we can get. Yeah, thank you, Connor. I appreciate that. So yeah, I'm a person. You guys will find out that I like to understand the history of things so that we can properly understand the context of where we are today in 2020. What you see right here essentially is what's been tried and true, because essentially some of this stuff is still going on now. These tactics are still going on now for a lot of professional service businesses. Mm-hmm. We want to address what it is. Like, what do you guys spend your money on when it comes to advertising? And why do you think that's been successful this long? Okay, so the main forms of advertising, marketing, because it's usually jumbled into two, even though they're 2 different things, honestly, is billboard ads, the agent magazine or the magazine ad where you're going to get a feature inside of there, or pay for a paid spot, right? The brochures, right? Business cards, and then obviously the tried and true since the beginning of time, the good old word of mouth referral, which is great, but it's not predictable, nor is it sustainable, and it's kind of a hope and a guess, right? So these are what have worked in the past, and the reason why they've worked in the past, to be honest, is because it was a pay-to-play game. If you could pay as the service business to get your billboard up there, get that radio spot, get in the magazine, then none of your competitors could probably do the same thing, and thus you were the only one who was known in town, right? Mm-hmm. Also, you didn't have to compete with competition that was stealing your prospects' attention and their heart, their emotional connection online, right? The Google wasn't there yet. There wasn't social media, right? So you didn't have to deal with these things as much. It was basically a pay-to-play game, and it was all one way. Meaning you could speak to them, but they couldn't necessarily speak back to you.
Yeah, and the reason that this is on its way out, as we're going to go into greater detail about, the reason this is on its way out and isn't really the move anymore, and really not where you should be investing your money and time, if I'm being totally honest with you, is because it really just ignores the buyer's journey, right? And the basic fact, and Terrence can talk more about this, if you're really going to take one thing away from this entire presentation, it's really remembering this 3% statistic, and that's that 3% of people are ready at any given time to make a buying decision, which means that 97% of people are not. They're in the awareness stage, they're in the interest stage, they're in the consideration phase. They may not even know that they need your service, or they may not know that they need it because they don't need it yet, right? And when you look at advertising like this, it's not really focused on anybody but someone who's ready to go, who's ready to buy, who's ready to become a patient, whatever industry it is, right? So Terrence, you can talk a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing you guys got to take away from this, no matter what you do from this point, is ask yourself the question: am I only spending my marketing and advertising dollars at a place in my buyer or prospect's journey when they're ready to buy? It seems like it's the right thing to do. It seems like, yeah, they're ready to buy, so I'll advertise to them. But what's happening is you're losing all this credibility and authority that could be happening in the top phases, which is what you see here in red: awareness, and then interest and consideration. Most professional services don't spend their budget on marketing in those phases. They're not building up authority. They're not putting out their expertise or their information. But that's what you've got to do in 2020. And it's not necessarily, it's two main reasons which you can take with you and run with it. Number one, you have more competition than you can even see right now, because the barrier to entry to getting to your prospect's mind, to their heart, to their information is 100 times easier because of social media, YouTube, email. Everything that's going on online means, number one, your competitor. You're a dentist, right? Just saying. I can start a dentist page right now, Terrence's Dental Care. I'm going to be doing it out of my home, or being a chiropractor out of my home. Just like that, I've got a page. If I'm putting out content, if I'm finding your client, now I'm your competition. And you've spent years building up this business that had limited competition, and now I'm your competition. And there's 100 of me. There's 1,000 of me, right? So I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm doing this to help you understand that you're fighting against a low barrier to entry for clients that can come into your space, but you're also fighting against your client's buyer's journey, your prospect's buyer's journey. They need to see and hear from you. They need to build a relationship in the awareness or in the interest phase, that top part of the funnel, or they're not going to consider you when it's time to buy. That's the point. Or if they do consider you, you're bidding against everybody else, where most of your competition is spending their dollars, which is flash sales.
And that brings us really to step one. And step one is defining and understanding your ideal client or patient audience. And Terrence is going to go into this and explain really how having a deeper understanding of where your clients are at, what their mentality is, will make your lead generation campaigns 10 times more effective.
So the number one thing, when we talk about the 4 steps that we're going to talk about today, the 4 phases, step 1 into driving in highly qualified leads today is, number 1, deeply defining your ideal client or patient audience, right? So how having a deeper understanding of how your ideal clients will make lead gen campaigns 10x more effective. So, or another way to put it is, how, if you do this, your lead gen campaigns will be 10x more effective. So we're going to talk about how that actually happens. So let's look at a generic persona to start, right? So again, traditionally in the 90s, early 2000s, yes, would a service business would a marketer make a persona? Yes, but it would usually be very, very generic, right? So in this one, we have this young lady named Rachel. What do we have? We have a persona name, a general. We have her general position that she's a small business owner. We don't know what type of small business. General demographics like her age, maybe how much she makes per year, which again is good. It's good stuff, right? But it's very basic. It's very, it's not nuanced, right? It's missing the nuanced information. Things like personality traits, right? Is she funny? Is she humorous? Is she a CEO? Is she more authoritative? Is she laid back? Values? Is she family oriented? Opinions? What are her political stances, attitudes? What does she feel like, think like? Is she, interest, lifestyle? What does she like to do? Does she bike ride? All these things are nuanced information that are much more important in a saturated, overcrowded market, right? Where you've got to cut through to somebody when you now have a 10x more competition than you did potentially 10 years ago, right? So let's look at, that's not so good generic. That's a generic persona. Let's look at a a more detailed persona. Okay, so what we have here, and this is actually one that is an actual client that we've used to produce performance results. This is a niche, and that's a big word, niche and laser focused persona. Okay, so in this one, look how much more detail it is. We've got a specific character name for her, taking control of Christy, because it's the type of woman who likes to take control of her life, right? We were breaking down mindset, goals, and desires, detailed play-by-play of their lifestyle. What is a day like in their life? Where do they go? What do they buy? What do they see? And then fears. What do they fear is going to happen if they don't make this decision of working, hiring you or hiring your service, right? So, it's much more it's much more descriptive. We're addressing fear of what actually stops them from purchasing, not just, okay, what do they generally like? And the point of this is that knowing these things makes your ads, whether it's video, whether it's regular ads, any type of communication at all, actually, it makes it more effective, makes your content more powerful, and your prospects will be much more engaged with your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a lot of things, every time we go through a phase of our system that we are using to perform, again, we're gonna give you some tips on what you can do on your own, whether you walk away from us and you never talk to us again, never see us again, which I hopefully is not the case, but we're gonna talk about some of these ways you can do this on your own. Number one, you want to survey your existing clients, okay, with a pretty short but purposeful survey. You can use an application like SurveyMonkey to do so. Ask questions. Number two, ask questions about lifestyle and fears instead of features about your service, right? So ask questions about what is a day like for them, what time do they wake up, what are their fears, or take it to the next level, or do in-person interviews, right? So in-person interviews with ideal clients and patients. And when you do that, document their exact quotes about how they're feeling about things, about your industry, how they're feeling about their problems. You want to get their mindset and language down on paper so that you can mirror that to them when you're providing them with solutions down the road. Lastly, look at competitor reviews, okay? Look at your competitors in your space and look at their reviews and find out what people that are hiring their services, what they don't like within the industry, because trust me, customers will tell you. They will tell the competitor as well, especially with the social media landscape. So these are some of the ways that you can start to fine-tune, sharpen your persona, which is going to sharpen your messaging.
Yeah, and just think about this stage as like the foundational process of advertising. Like if once you know these things, your ads will be better, your landing pages will be better, your everything will improve if you do this research up front instead of trying to plug in things down the road without having this solid foundation. And and for this last point, for competitor reviews and stuff, just go on Yelp and Google and Facebook or whatever. It doesn't even have to be in your state, although that or in your city, although that can be helpful. If you're a real estate agent, just hop on and see what are the worst reviews that someone who otherwise gets good reviews are. What sort of language do you see from people often when they're unhappy versus when they're happy and a satisfied customer? And just take notes of all these things, and it'll really help you in these next steps that we're going to be diving into. So this is our next step. This is our step 2. This is when you're starting to create content that you'll actually be putting in front of people. And you have to ask yourself and think about the buyer journey that Terrence was talking about earlier, which is only 3% of people are ready to buy right now. Everyone else is unaware they have a problem, or is maybe open to something down the road, or just, we have to create content that resonates with people who aren't just sitting there saying, oh, I want a dentist today, or a chiropractor today, or a real estate agent to sell my, house tomorrow, or something like that. You really want to start creating content that helps those people. And being helpful is really one of the most important things you can be doing, working with building relationships with people who aren't quite there in your buyer's journey. They aren't ready to call you up and open up their wallets or their checkbook or whatever, but you want to start building that trust now, right? So a quote that I love is from an old school famous marketer is always enter the conversation already taking place in the customer's mind, right? So I'll give you a couple examples of a client we work with and their old ads and their current ads, right? So for this one, it's just a generic ad or 20 years experience. And you might look at this, and if I'm scrolling through Facebook or if I'm on the internet, if I'm maybe if I'm looking for cosmetic surgery right now, maybe I would be compelled by this, but there's nothing very compelling about it, right? I'm not calling out any traits or sort of fears or uncertainties or hopes or dreams of a prospect. There's just no clear offer. It's just a generic ad. You could replace the name with any other brand in the area, right? So the leads that you get from this tend to not be not so great. And then this is a campaign that we're doing for the same company, and we can see some of the differences. Sorry about the sirens. You can see some of the differences between this ad over here and this ad, right? This is for breast augmentation for a plastic surgeon, right? So that's a what, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 procedure, and so those leads are super valuable. But instead of just putting out ads saying, "Oh, get a breast augmentation," we actually created content that is a guide for moms who have had kids, kind of unhappy with their bodies now, think maybe open to getting a procedure. So instead of targeting people, just blanket targeting women who might be interested in the Nashville, Tennessee area, we actually had a guide put together that breaks down kind of all the things that a mom might want to know about that process. And then we have some awesome video content interviewing a mom who went through this. And we've collected tons and tons of leads with this exact ad copy. It's live right now collecting leads for us, right? So hopefully you can see the difference between running a generic ad like this and creating something that is more, resonates more with the struggle and sort of fears and thoughts that they have. So this kind of ties back to our previous step, which was identifying and building that foundation of understanding your clients. It's good to ask yourself, instead of trying to just sell, it's good to have ads that sell your products, but not everyone is ready to buy it. So what information can you provide people who might be interested in your service? What do you wish that they could know, right? So in this previous example, it was moms who might be open to breast aug. Cool, here's the 5 questions moms have, right? So you can figure out, what your service is better than we do and better than anyone. What are the biggest questions you hear? You can turn these into content, lead magnets. It could be a checklist or a guide or an article, anything that really informs people and offers them a lot of value. Those things are great for getting people on your email list, for getting people to sign up for text message notifications or getting into chatbots or whatever it is. They're really good at opening that door to communication. Because the thought is, if they download your guide, they download your content, they find it useful, if they ever need your service or something related to your service, you're going to be more likely to be the first company they think of, which is one of the biggest goals we have here, right? So in step 1, we built our foundation of really understanding the prospect. Step 2, we created some content and gave you an example of content we're using to generate, high ticket leads right now. The next question is, well, let's say you've created some content and you're running your ads and people are signing up, and that's great. Now, how do you actually turn this? How do you turn these leads into customers, right? So how do you create a system that's in place? And this is what I see from so many companies that we audit or that hire us or hire me to do marketing for them. They have a Facebook ad, they have a booking page, and they hope that it turns them, it gets clients for them. When in reality, like, the hopes and prayers is not. You need to have a concrete plan for getting people from point A to point B, C, D, E down the road to being your client, right? So this is a wireframe of kind of what our campaigns, a basic layout of what our campaigns often look like. So we'll be offering a guide or a resource on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever it might be, and they sign up for the content. Immediately, we're actually putting them into a retarget audience, so we can show them ads that are a little bit more pushy. Hey, book a call, book a consultation, or just more resources, continuing to build that trust. Once they sign up, we always offer them the ability to book a consultation or to come in or book an appointment, right? You always have your upsell options. But the truth is that those people who are just now aware of your company are often not ready to just become your client. So it becomes, we have professionally written emails and all types of other things that are delivering content, delivering value, and staying in touch with them and staying top of mind. So you want to think, where will anyone interact with your business online? Have a system of picking them up and getting them into your system. Have an offer that will entice them to hop on board, but also think, how can I give away good content that'll get them on my email list, to get them on your text messaging list, whatever it might be. The more valuable you become, the more valuable you are to them, the more likely they are to make this journey, through Candyland over here to becoming a client. Exactly. So obviously there's a ton that goes into this, right? And it can be a little overwhelming. But maybe just take some time to think about where you're going to interact, where people will interact with your brand online. Do they come in on Facebook Messenger? Are they sending contact us forms on your page? Where are they spending the most time on your website? You should be able to answer these questions and start figuring out how to meet people and where to meet them where they're at instead of trying to go chase after them, right? And start asking yourself, what should your ideal prospects know about your industry, about potentially buying with you or becoming a client of yours? Start asking those questions and listen to your customers and read reviews and read competitors' reviews and figure out what are people happy about, unhappy about, what are their questions. Go on Google, figure out what people are, 5 things to know about real estate or whatever it might be. You can click around and just, the internet is your friend. Start figuring out what people are asking. That can inform your ability to write emails or blog posts or Facebook posts, Instagram, whatever it might be. You start creating content that starts resonating with people's most asked questions. And those make easy emails, just cut and paste it, throw it in an email update, a Facebook post, whatever it might be. And always think about what are your valuable offers? How are you going to get people there? And just scheduling a few emails with also, hey, click here to get 20% off this week, or refer a friend and save 20% or whatever it might be. Think about how to include those sorts of things in crafting offers. And then on top of that, you don't have to sell people on your entire services up front. And email lists sell a lot for people. Like, you can make really good money, and you make good money building an email list because it's free advertising. Once they click in and they're on your email list, until they opt out, that you can send them as many emails as you want. So not that you want to bomb them with emails, but they'll like it if you're educating them and giving them great resources and stuff to tap into. So don't think of this as like a zero sum, got to get people to book, send them there. That's not what our funnels do. Most of the time it's more educating them, informing them, getting them on email lists, texting lists, whatever it might be, and continuing to drive useful, valuable content to them. And that's what will get clients over the long term, not just trying to get as many people in that 3% ready to buy stage that you and all your competitors are spending money going after as it is, right? So the next step here is really, what is our favorite medium for communicating and resonating with people in a way that's super powerful? And I'm going to get this back over to Terrence to explain that.
This specifically, what we're talking about in step 4, is almost, if you think about everything Connor spoke about as an engine, right? All pieces to an engine, whether it's email and social ads and Facebook ads, this is the fuel, because an engine can't run without fuel, right? But as you guys know, because most of you probably have cars, or at least had a car at one point in time, the potency or the power of or how good the fuel is often tells you how good the engine runs, right? So here we're talking about cinema quality vlog series, or in this in relation to what I said about the engine, this would be premium gas, right? So, what is this? What are we talking about? Cinema quality vlog series. We're talking about the medium in which you deliver your content, right? The medium in which you deliver your expertise, build authority within that buyer's journey online. Okay, this is professionally produced cinema quality video content series packaged under one series name and one educational mission. Or an easier way to think about it is your favorite Netflix series, right? Your favorite Netflix series has a ton of video that's high quality, cinema level, that makes you feel an emotional connection. It's packaged usually under one name, So that's what we're talking about here, but doing this for your brand. We can go to the next slide. So this is happening right now by hundreds of thousands of, sometimes actually not often businesses, just people that want to share information, and they have their vlog, right? It's not Netflix level, but they have a vlog. They have a vlog which is usually located on YouTube. That's where you usually find vlogs most of the time, okay? So I don't know this lady right here, but this lady is a plastic surgeon or doctor, and she's talking about tips for a better breast dog recovery, right? So there's some things good about this, and there's a lot of opportunity for growth. So we're gonna walk through them real quick. We're not gonna watch the video just for time's sake here. I really respect your time, but let's go through the points of what's not so good here, right? So number one, it's only education. It's not entertaining, right? So she's sitting in her office. It's pretty bland. This does not make you think of Netflix and what makes you binge watch Netflix at all. It's educational, which is good. It's not entertaining. Number two, it's not packaged into a bigger brand concept, right? If it were, it would be called, it would be called, Tips with Tracy or something like that, or Breast Dogs with Brandy. I'm just making that up right now, but it's just a piece of content. It's just out there. It's kind of just swimming on its own, right? So it's not packaged, and that's important because the buyer can't expect it from you, right? It's not like the Ellen show, the Oprah show. They don't know when you're coming, what ties all this information together. It's just a random piece of content living on YouTube out in the sea, right? Number three, generic messaging. Again, this goes back to having a strong foundation, which we talked about in step one. It doesn't have that context based on deeper needs of the buyer persona and a well-defined client. So whatever she taught, the simple way to think about it, that is, she's saying tips for best breast dog. But my grandmother getting a breast dog and, my little cousin getting a breast dog, that's 20 years old. Those are two different women with two different lifestyles, needs, pains, fears. It's too generic, so that content about a breast dog recovery is not going to cut through the norms. It's not going to get people excited, and it's not going to be shareable, right? It's just going to be, again, generic and living out in the YouTube sea. So number four, lacks emotional connection and storytelling. This is back to cinema quality, Netflix, and that's the power that filmmaking brings, right? At the end of the day, it brings emotional connection and a story that ties you in, which is why we all binge watch Netflix, and you can't get that when you're just doing a generic vlog. That is the power of film. It brings emotion, and emotion is the number one indicator of a strong market-leading brand. You actually can't name a market-leading brand that does not build emotional connection. Even if it's Nike, Starbucks, Patagonia, Gucci, whoever it is, they all build emotional connection, and the most powerful way to do that is through film. So we can move on to the next slide. So here is an actual vlog series that we produced for a client that's performing extremely well within the system attached to it that Connor just talked about in part three, phase three. This is a high-performing vlog, okay? And let's talk about why, the differences. This Image Surgical Arts, this is a real plastic surgery business in Tennessee. We didn't make up some fake client, right? Number one, what does it do? It offers education, but it's packaged under one series name. If you look right here, the name of it is Backstage Pass, and that's very intentional because we want the viewer to understand that they're getting to see what it looks like backstage when they're not at the office. What are these women talking about? What do the employees talk about? What does authentic raw conversation look like? It's packaged under it. Ooh, I gotta see that name, tagline, right? Number two, messaging of the vlog has a very specific context to both the needs and the lifestyle of the defined ideal client, right? We have a persona that's super deep, which and defined, which we showed you in the first step, right? All this messaging, though it looks like it's just, we're just kicking back, having a martini and having a talk, it's not. All the messaging that's coming out of their mouth is extremely connected to the pain, fears, lifestyle, everything that we talked about in the persona's breakdown, okay? And number three, film elements. Back to what I just talked about what makes us watch Netflix. Film elements leverage the power of storytelling, and they create that emotional connection. The lighting, the soundtrack, the score, all of that, how this plays out, the B-roll, which is what you see when they're talking, but you can't see their face, whatever's playing in the back, that's all intentional. That's all filmmaking. That's all emotional connecting. That's all what market-leading brands do with their blog versus the average Joe Schmo, the everyday service provider does with their blog, which is what we showed you before. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so why your cinema quality blog series is so important? Two reasons, and I said them before. I just want to reiterate it to take this home. It allows you to build a human connection and your authority at scale with thousands of ideal clients that you have never met. Most importantly, in the awareness and consideration stage where 97% of your ideal prospects are that probably 90% of your prospects, of your competitors are not, right? So you're getting a chance to build a relationship, you're building authority, you're becoming known as the go-to expert. So when you do advertise, or when you advertise specifically and say, hey, I'm open for consultations, I'm open to be booked. It's a lot. There's a warm connection there, and your competitors are not going to have that because they're not even talking to the 97% that aren't ready to buy right now. Number two, allows you to create a premium perception. This is so important. Think of it as the person who shows up to the black tie affair in their workout clothes, right? When you have cinema quality, when you have Netflix quality, it's something that goes on in our brain as consumers. It positions you as a premium on first impression, right? So you're perceived as premium. Premium wouldn't even dare ask for a discount, a luxury service when meeting your audience. Why is that important? Because some people say, I don't want to come across as pretentious. This isn't about coming across pretentious. This is about getting this is about retrieving back in dollars what you deserve for the quality of your service. Remember, this has nothing to do about how good your service is compared to your competitors. We're assuming you're great. We're also assuming your competitors are also pretty good, right? So when that's not the differentiator per se, because you both are very good at cleaning teeth, fixing people's backs, doing breast augmentations, etc., then the perception of your service has somebody say, you know what, and the authority that you built with them through the content, what's coming out of your mouth in these blog series, that's what has somebody say, you know what, I'm willing to pay the price premium. And if you don't believe that's possible for your business, for your service, think about the brands that you buy. Honda. You wouldn't buy Fonda, some fake car company. You wouldn't buy Gucci, some fake Gucci. You want the brand that's built the emotional connection that's perceived as premium. You don't go in there asking for a discount. Your clients shouldn't do the same for you. You deserve better. All right? And that's what cinema quality blogging series can do. So I understand that most of you here may not have the means to have a whole film crew to produce a high quality vlog, and that's okay. But there are things that you can do with your phone, the smartphone that you have right next to you, that can increase the probability that you'll be perceived as an authority and as premium in your local market. Okay. Number one, the look. Get a basic tripod, Amazon, $12 for your smartphone. Get a basic tripod, and that's going to create stability. So now you're not walking around, for 13 minutes talking. It's in a stable place, and that gives people, from an eye perspective, your prospective customers, it tells them that you're stable, that you're here for the long run, that you should be a constant in their life, right? You want to make sure that you have good lighting on your face. That's just a basic film principle. That just takes taking a lamp even in your home, is making sure it's positioned behind the camera so that light feeds onto your face. If the lighting is not good, people will tune out. It's just a fact. Number two, the messaging. Probably just as or more important as that basic, video quality description I just put above. The message. Write down all of the frequently asked questions and use those answers from your current clients, and use those as answers to fuel your blog content. This is what Connor was talking about in phase 2 when he was talking about, the lead magnet and the piece of content you need. You need to ask these. You need to take these questions and flip them into a piece of educational content. And the same goes here with the blog series. Remember, no matter how great the video looks, it's not supposed to be a traditional advertising. It's supposed to be building up authority. Okay. Number 3, the sound. On the most basic level, understand your ideal client and understand what is the background score of the soundtrack that resonates most with them. If it's my mom, I might be using Frank Sinatra, right? I mean, obviously you have to get the royalties clear for that. That's another conversation. But having, old, smooth jazz back there versus if it's a 16-year-old that's my core client, right? Then you might want to have some upbeat pop or rap in the background. That soundtrack creates a feeling, right? And you can do that without having a film crew. That's just being strategic about what's the sound going on in the background while you're talking. And lastly, number 4, packaging positioning. At the least, you can align all your blog episodes and do them under one series name. Tips with Tracy, right? Breast dogs with Brandy. I'm making those up. But questions with Preston. But having these packages in one core concept tells people, hey, I'm reliable, I'm here, and I'm going to be around for a while. And everything I talked about is aligned with a singular vision, even if I go all over the place with what I'm talking about as far as frequently asked questions. So hopefully you can take these with you. And again, all you need is your phone and a tripod and some decent lighting to get started with your own blog, to start building authority.
So once you have these pieces together and the pieces that we've been describing, you start to get like a whole lead generation ecosystem that's just operating while you sleep, right? You're offering amazing video content. You're able to track the engagement that you get with that. You're able to target people, reach them where they're at, capture leads, follow up with them automatically, and turn them into clients. And really, it's just an amazing, amazing synergy between each part, each of these 4 steps that we've broken down for you guys. And seeing them together is extremely powerful.
So this, what I want you guys to understand, to wrap all this up, and I give you so much credit for making it here. I know this can be a lot of information. It's a lot of technical work. It's a lot of video. It's a lot of brand. It's a lot of components coming at you at once. But I want you to understand that at this point, if you were to achieve this, if you were to produce an engine that could do this for you, what this actually means for bigger picture, top headline of all this, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to stop the uncontrollable, what we call yo-yo revenue. 1 month you're extremely up, 1 month you're down. You're up at night hoping for referrals to send them your way the next morning or the next week, et cetera, right? So we want to stop that up and down revenue. We want to get to predictable. We want to stop spending way too much irreplaceable, can't get back time on social media because that's the thing they told you to do. You want to be posting, you want to be in the mix. I get it. You want to build a presence online. But the way in which you do that is very important. You want to be strategic with your time. You want to get the most out of what's happening on social media. So we want to stop stop posting so much on social media when we don't need to, right? We want to, and remember, when you're posting even if it's the greatest content ever, you don't get scale when you're posting on social media organically. You're reaching the same 300 or even 3,000 or even 30,000 people. You're only reaching that same audience over and over again. You're not reaching the 30 million, or I'm just using wild numbers, but you get what I'm saying. You're not using advertising. You're not using the paid portion of that. So you're actually spinning your wheels talking to the same people. Even if you're building authority, you're building it with the same people over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. So number 3, you want to stop over-relying on inconsistent referrals. We just talked about that. Number 4, we want to stop competing with competitors for lowest price. We talked about the power of blog, positioning yourself as a premium brand. You want people to look at your brand, feel emotionally connected, know that you're the expert, which is important because we're doing a service here. We're not selling soap, right? So you want them to feel your brand and say, wouldn't ask them for a lower price, right? I don't care what their competitors are doing. I don't care if I can go somewhere else to get it. I'm not asking for a lower price, just like I don't ask that 5-star restaurant, can they give me the steak at half price, right? It has to be you, and it should be you because you're that good at what you do, but your client doesn't know that yet, okay? So number 5, stop buying. I hate this is the worst one. We got this. When you do this, you'll be able to stop buying low quality leads from third party sites like Yelp and Boomtown. And this is not about any of those sites because I think for what they do what they do. But this is about owning an engine that delivers high quality leads that are coming for you, not necessarily the thing you're doing, right? So this is the age we're in now. It's not just about any old chiropractor. It's no, I need that chiropractor. It's not just about give me a dentist cleaning. No, it's about I need that dentist because that dentist understands me and I have a relationship with that dentist before I needed to get my cavity cleaned. Get it? So that's what we want to stop. Let's go to the next slide. What we want to do instead is what your business is going to get, which is essentially the other side, right? What's the transformation look like from where your business is right now? We want to give you the ability to charge a price premium, right? You pick which means you're not getting lowballed and can you match this competitor's price? No, we're a market leading brand. You pick the price of the homes you want to represent if it's real estate, right? This is just an example. You're positioned as the brand authority in your market. So we're starting to see the power of being an authority. When you think about becoming an authority, on the other side, you can attach that to not becoming a commodity, right? So I want to be a brand authority. I do not want to become a commodity. You should say that every night when you go to sleep. Number 2, you're going to have an automated stream of qualified leads. So who are you already familiar with? I'm sorry, you're gonna have a stream of qualified leads that are familiar with your brand, right? They trust you as the authority. They're excited to book a consultation. They're excited to get on your calendar, right? They're not asking you about price quotes and can you compare. They're saying, I've been waiting to work with you. That's the difference when you have a market leading brand. Number three, sustainable team growth. This is so important for some of you service providers out there who are great at what you're doing. You have a business running, but you've been thinking, man, how do I duplicate myself? How do I open another practice? The reason why whether you subconsciously know it or don't know it, is because you don't have a predictable system to driving in the same quality of leads that you do for yourself for another person or for another three people, right? We're going to give you this. We need to provide an engine that's going to say whether I open 2 practices or 20 practices, I can have the same quality of leads and the volume of needs needed to operate that business too, right? So this is thinking. That's a conversational point about scale, okay? Number 4, serving smarter. Some people don't want to scale. That's okay. What this is going to allow you to do is your ability to spend your time serving only your most valuable and profitable keyword buyers and sellers. So maybe it's not about more. Maybe it's about better. Maybe it's about I want to spend, if I'm going to work with 10 clients a year because I'm a real estate agent, then I want to do the ones that are doing $20 million houses, not people who are buying their first house. Nothing against them. But I want to work with the celebrities that are whatever it is for you, serving smarter. And that's what you're going to be able to do with a system, with an engine that runs whether you're there or not online.
Absolutely. And something to think about, and Terrence will help me break this down a little more, is that when you're looking at having all these pieces together, these are the type of investments that typically people have to make when they want to do it. They're gonna be hiring a branding agency or some sort of consultant to work with their brand. Then they're gonna hire like film house production teams to come together and put the videos together. Then they're gonna hire an advertising agency to manage their social media advertising and to build their landing pages and do all this cool stuff. So you put all these pieces together and you're shelling out, you're shelling out $5, $10, $15, $20, $30+ thousand a month to have all these things done. And at the end of the day, they're actually not working together either. That you have a brand consultant who hands over some stuff to maybe your advertising agency, and you have a filmmaker who comes in and makes some content for you and hands it off to your ad agency. But there's no synergy between the 3 groups, and that's really what doesn't exist today. And that's what Journey does. That's what we're here to be doing, is to be kind of like a first of its kind vlog branding agency that does all of these pieces and doesn't charge you $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month to do it. So let's see. So
essentially, that is the core reason why we created Journey. At the end of the day, and I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the culmination of everything that we've talked about this whole webinar. And though we've given you tips to do it yourself, we also do this for our clients, right? So the goal is to say, okay, the market, most service markets are extremely saturated because of the internet, because of technology, because of social media, because long story short, like we've been talking about, the client has their phone. They have information, and they need information to build trust before they make a decision. So we're saying build authority, but most importantly, position yourself as a market-leading brand. Become the Nike of your space. Don't be commoditized. And we're giving you the resources and the system and programs to do that with Journey. So we're elevating a professional business, service business, from a regular service to a market-leading service brand. How we do that, we're building you an online growth engine fueled by your professional cinema, Netflix level vlog series to grow your authority at scale, but then also provide you with a system attached to that, which is what Connor was talking about, that's going to be able to actually drive you in ideal client leads on patient leads. Ideal clients or patients on autopilot, so that you don't have to waste your time and go to serving your dream clients, right? Essentially. And again, prior to Journey, prior to our program called ATL, which is Authority to Leads, you would have needed 3 separate companies that were probably overpriced, not working together. And we're doing that. We're providing the essentials of all those agencies traditionally in one program, working in synergy with our experts at a cost that honestly has a return on investment in no more than a few months, right? So that is what Journey is. That's what Journey is about. And I'm not going to go into the whole ATL program right now, but that is what we do, and we wanted to make you aware of that, whether you choose to do it yourself or you choose to hire us to become your partner to do that.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can always go to journey.co and learn more about the ATL program if you're curious. Or more importantly, we do have an application process for the ATL program, because it is, it's an intense program. It really is really like a ground up from the bottom, build a foundation and build an entire video project, video campaign, advertising campaign, branding campaign, all these different agencies that you'd used to have to hire all in one. So there is an application process that fills up pretty quickly. Limited spots available for that. We'd love to have you guys let's see if you're a good fit, see if there's a good opportunity for us to chat and work together. So there's going to be a link below. We'd love for you to hop on there and see if we'd be a good fit.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is that, we usually only have 5 spots available, and that's not some like tactic to be like make you buy something that you shouldn't be buying faster than you should be buying it. But mostly it's because, to be honest, we work intensively with the clients that we're working with. We're here with them every day, day in, day out. So we know we can't do that for 50 clients at a time, right? So the 5 is more so for the attention that we're giving to the business that we're working with, not some like sleazy sales tactic.
Yes.
And again, this is not for brand new businesses that just started their dentist practice yesterday. This is for businesses that are kind of they've got clients, they've got a good business running. Nothing's wrong with the business, but they've kind of hit a plateau, and they know that the longer they go without shifting and scaling, essentially, they're monetized. Or they're just stagnant in their growth, and they want to do things more efficiently, more effectively, more sustainably, and more predictably. And that's what happens when you build a market-leading brand. So thank you guys for all of your time. There's going to be, whether it's below here or an email coming after this, there'll be an application page if you feel that this is something you would like to, this program, ATL, is something you would like to apply for. Thank you for your time. If nothing else, take the information, run with it, and use it on your own, and go be great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.